Hey, what's happening, you guys? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? This is Randolph Terrence.
Andy
I
Klein.
kind of feel like a radio DJ. Hey, everybody! It's 8
Welcome
p.m.
to
on the
the.
East
Well, you're
Coast, and
doing NPR voice. That's different. NPR voice is a whole separate category
I'm
of
just
radio
doing. I
DJ.
think I'm just doing late night black radio host voice.
Okay.
They all sound like that.
We need a thunderstorm sound effect.
Yeah, late night usually starts. The storm starts around at least around here. It started at 7.
I remember it being later when I used to listen to like the R&B stations years ago because that's the only place you could get rap music on the radio.
That's right.
And there were no rap stations. And even the R&B stations, it was like you might get rap sometimes, or you might get like a remix of a rap song that's not the one you wanted because it's more radio friendly.
Yeah, radio
it's more
friendly
soft,
edit.
the
Yeah, the radio
softer
edit.
version.
Yeah.
And then late night they would do they'd have a DJ on Friday and Saturday. They would do like mixes with with rap. But I remember the Quiet Storm being later, like at least 9 o'clock or later. Like the 7 o'clock was too early for that. It had to be dark.
Seemed like when I got here on WHUR, their Quiet Storm started like at 7. I was like, this is early.
Howard University Radio.
I remember thinking, I was like, this is early, but it would always start with that quiet, soft and warm. It's a quiet storm. It would always start. I'm like, it's 7? The sun's still out.
That's my thing. Like the streetlights might not even be on in the middle of summer. It's still light out. It's still bright,
WHUR. I remember it started early. But then when we were in New York, I don't remember, whichever station that Wendy Williams was on, they did a Quiet Storm because they had that Cat Vaughn who did a jazz hour also. They were a more well-rounded station.
Right.
And they did. Remember, we would be coming home late, and they would have the Quiet Storm on. We'd be coming
late.
Home spots. It would be late, but
dark.
it would be on. Yeah.
It would have been dark for a long time by that point.
Particularly in New York, because it could start getting dark like at 4 in the winter.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that when I moved up. When I first moved there, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's getting dark at 3:30? Why is it dim outside? Like, what do you mean?
Skyscrapers, shit. It was never. I mean, to my memory, it was never 7. It was always late, like late, like midnight.
Supposed to be late. Quiet Storm.
11 o'clock maybe, something like that. And always the rainstorm.
Yeah.
The thunderstorm, and then it was like the soft DJ voice comes on, like, "Hey, it's time for the Quiet Storm," or whatever. I don't know what they said. Something like that.
Yeah, well, you just start that Quiet Storm song, that Quincy Jones. Not Quincy Jones, Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, I don't know if they always did that, though.
It was on.
Yeah, I don't even know if I always heard that. Maybe I just never tuned in at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was a late night thing. It was never 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know why I started on WHUR at 7. It was weird to me. I was like, okay, it's fine, play it, but it's early.
It's Howard University Radio.
Yeah.
It's college kids got to go to bed early.
As DL is saying, 7 is evening drive. You're getting home 5 to 7. You get home, you want to just kick back when you're home, maybe. Sit in the car and not want to go in the house. Kids are looking out the window at you. Like, I'm just going to sit out here and listen to Smokey Robinson before I go in there and deal with them. No, Trey, Donnie's show was 3 to 7. And that was Donnie and my man, Tony Perkins. That's 3 to 7. They did 4 hours.
Right.
Did they do didn't they have they also had a morning show. Who did the morning? Whoever did
on PGC?
Yeah, I think Donnie did Donnie do the morning?
Donnie Simpson was in the morning, right?
He did morning
at one point.
Then he was off, but then when he came back, he was on afternoons.
Yeah, I don't remember who
afternoon
they switched
drive.
to the morning.
Remember, he was off for a while. Then he came back, and he was on afternoon drive.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was him and Steve Harvey went head to head.
Syndicated Steve Harvey.
Didn't really mean nothing because they would go on each other's shows. It didn't really mean anything. It was Donnie, Steve Harvey, and this other cat who no one really listened to. Frank Ski? No, wasn't Frank Ski in the morning. Might have been
Frank Ski was Baltimore.
That's Baltimore, yeah.
Doo-doo Brown.
Yeah, Doo-doo Brown. Now, Delilah, she said Delilah was, DL in the chat saying Delilah was 7 to midnight. Okay, so where I lived in Texas, when I first became aware of Delilah was like overnight. Delilah. Y'all, you know Delilah, Andy?
I don't know Delilah, no.
Raise your hand in the chat if you know Delilah.
There's that song called Hey There, Delilah by the Plain White Tees.
Delilah.
That's more of a acoustic rock ballad kind of song.
Google Delilah radio. She was like White Quiet Storm.
I think we've talked about her before. Yeah. I recognize this picture. Delilah,
I know
American radio personality and author, 66 years old.
She had black kids. I know that.
It says she is a nationally syndicated radio personality. I guess she's still around. Nighttime radio host, Delilah. That's her.
She was doing overnights. And
her website is Delilah.com.
And DL wants to know how you do not know, how does Andy not know Delilah?
How do I not know Delilah?
You worked in radio, D. I didn't know that. You don't want to stay in radio, DL?
First of all, I don't listen to these females. No, I don't know.
There you go.
I never. Maybe I've heard Delilah's voice. I didn't. I don't. It doesn't ring a bell. But
yeah, you know her voice. As soon as the minute you heard it, you'd be like, "Oh, that's Delilah." The minute you hear her voice, you'll know it.
She's got her website, Delilah.com.
I'm not surprised.
Pictures of herself with a horse and chickens. She must live on a farm or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah. She's like.
Is that how you know the quiet storm's over? You hear her rooster in the background? Time to wake up. Quiet storm's over, guys.
You know roosters start crowing like at 4 a.m. Do you know that? If you lived around some Mexicans, you would know that, like I did. you lived in a neighborhood with a lot of Mexicans in it, you'd know that. Yeah,
what are you saying right now?
They start crowing at like 4 a.m. Because look at somebody in the chat is angry now. Kawana Killings. Listen.
No, she just said hey. Like,
oh,
hello.
I thought she was because I'm seeing Wana. I don't know if that's Kewana or I don't know because you know how it runs together. Wana is Espanol for Jane, so or Jane is white for Wana. But at least 3 of my neighbors kept chickens, and at least 2 of them had roosters.
And they would just like they would harvest the eggs for breakfast and stuff.
Yeah. Thing is, chickens see on a different spectrum than us. They don't see on the same spectrum we see on. So they're like, well, roosters crow at dawn. Yeah, dawn to them is like 4:30.
Okay.
that would be why. So they just get to and here's the thing again with a rooster. You can't tell a rooster to shut the fuck up. You can tell a dog that. Roosters don't shut up. You shut up. That's what a rooster says.
Is it every single morning or do they take a day off every
morning?
I mean, I've heard the foxes. We've talked about this. I've heard the late night fox screaming.
Creepy ass shit.
That's different though. That's not an every night thing. That's just a random thing. It's just from time to time they start screaming because they're trying to hook it up.
Oh shit! DL saying Mark Furman worked at her radio station
in Idaho
when she was in Idaho. What? Well, he was in the right place.
Well, I didn't. Were you living in Idaho and he moved to Idaho? Oh, Spokane is very white. He had a ranch because Spokane is at Eastern Washington, like Idaho kind of area. Isn't that where Sydney Sweeney is from?
Imagine that.
I think so.
That is shocking.
I did a show in Spokane once when I did the Seattle Comedy Festival.
I'm sure the
Seattle Comedy Festival.
I'm sure your smart self went over very well there.
I didn't do that great. I didn't do that great.
Yeah.
It was a bar show. That's all it was. It was a bar show, And I believe there was a sign on stage, or because it was a place it was like a one-nighter place where they had shows from time to time. It wasn't just this one-off for the competition. It was like a room that had shows, and then they had a night that was the Seattle Comedy Competition, and there was like a sign saying no spitting on the floor or something in the venue or something like that.
Jesus.
No stepping on stage if you're not performing. They must have had some incidents, but
yeah.
I didn't spend a lot of time in Spokane, but yeah, I had a mediocre set that night for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't kill it.
I performed at the bar in Desperado.
Desperado.
Yeah. That bar was in Del Rio. So there's a bar where the dude is the opening sequence where he's singing on the bar. And Desperate,
right?
Yeah, that bar. That's their claim to fame.
So that was like a one-nighter then?
Yeah, it was a one-nighter. Carrizo Springs. It was like a run. You go to Carrizo Springs, Del Rio's weird. Carrizo Springs, Del Rio, and Laredo, I think, and then you come back. So it's like 3 one-nighters.
A run, as they used to call it.
Yeah. You do like a run.
I'm doing a run. Every day is a 3-hour drive in between shows.
Texas, man. Remember we were watching No Country for Old Men, and it's like you were amazed at like the way it looks. I was like, no, that's just how Texas looks. That's just
right.
That's how it looks.
What part of Texas is that?
That's
the whole state?
The whole Texas. That's it. That's Texas in a nutshell. It just kind of looks prairie-ish. And then it'll just be like a gas station off the side. Ain't no road going to it. You drive in dirt. You just drive over to it.
Yeah.
Cities don't look like that, but the minute you get right outside the city, that's how it looks.
Everything in there is expired.
Yeah.
To get a shipment every 6 months of new candy bars and mixed nuts.
Yep. Yeah, I went to once I did a gig in Lubbock.
Why are the Slurpees all brown?
That's on the way to New Mexico in Lubbock, so you're going east.
Well, Lubbock's a college town, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going east, going to Lubbock, and that is an all desert drive. Just desert.
No scenery at all?
Nah.
No.
I mean, it's pretty if you like desert.
But like at night, it's just pitch black.
Pitch black.
Right? Yeah.
You don't drive at night. You don't want to drive at night.
No street lights, no reflectors going down the middle of the road.
You don't want to drive at night. It's pitch black. You don't want to drive at night. But the thing is that the moonlight is really bright because there's no light blindness out there because there's no lights out there. So So like it's lit up. You just don't want to drive it. I don't recommend it. Truckers do it. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. You start seeing shit. An hour in, you're seeing shit. I'm like, no, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Chad is saying those are places do not stop. Yeah, you figure out how to time your drive so you make it to a city. Particularly in Texas. Then I did a gig did a couple of gigs in Amarillo and Odessa. That was the first run I did. Odessa on Friday, Amarillo on Saturday.
Classic run.
Yeah.
Got to run.
The first one, I was about 6 months in, we did a run.
Got a hotel room.
Yep. Oh, the second show was crazy. The second show was the show that I was like, all right, I'm going to be a comedian.
Oh, crazy good.
Not even like, I had no jokes.
Right.
I've been doing comedy six months, maybe. We did Friday, and like I said, we did Friday in Odessa, home of the football team, where Friday Night Lights was filmed, supposedly. I swear it was set. Let's not say it was filmed there. And then we drove to Amarillo on the next day, and then we did radio. We were in a top flight hotel. Everybody got their own room in the hotel. They sent limos for us. We were in a theater that sold out. And was about 50. It was a 1,500 seater.
Was it like a real limo, or was it just like a
No, it was a real
car?
limo. No, it was a real limo.
Like a partition and everything?
Yeah, they took us to eat. They took us to the limo driver's, I guess his mother's place, soul food spot. It was fantastic. Then we went to the venue. It was 1,500 seater, sold out, and I destroyed. I mean, I had no business being that funny. I destroyed. I don't think I've ever killed like that since. All these years I've done comedy, I've never killed like that.
Right.
Or it could just be because that was the first time I ever felt that. But
maybe
I destroyed.
Maybe you need a limo to every gig.
Maybe that's the
thing.
Maybe that's what it is.
You got to have a limo. You got to have an expensive spread of food, a charcuterie board, perhaps, and then that's all you need. And everything. And
I was just doing the same jokes that I would just do okay with. Like I did okay the night before. I did okay. Just nothing bad. I did okay. I would get laughs. Not like this. Just destroyed. Got off stage. The other comics were like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I don't know. And then went back home. Yes, I have been chasing that high ever since TPS. Went back home. Tuesday went to Midtown and bombed horribly.
But you ride that high for like
life.
That's before you learn the trick, which is if you kill it over the weekend, maybe skip that Tuesday, Wednesday open mic, just to ride the high for a couple more days.
Yeah,
it's like I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I walked in that open mic thinking, oh, it's about to go down. I'm about to kill this open mic. Nope, they were playing cards. They were playing bid whist. Nope,
I killed it, man. I was like, you guys are crazy. It's crazy around here, and they were fucking dying laughing. I was like, it's crazy, right? You guys are crazy.
We're come back. We bought the greatest hits of the OJs. Me and Klepto sang that shit all the way back. All the way back to San Antonio. 7-hour drive.
And then chasing that dragon.
Yep.
Chasing that dragon forever.
Yep. If I had bombed, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be here right now.
Especially if you would have bombed and everyone else would have destroyed.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
You bomb, everyone else kills it because you're ready to have your excuses like, oh, that crowd sucks, or they seemed a little tired, and everyone else kills it. You're like, oh, none of my excuses apply because everyone else was able to get them.
Bro, it kept going. We went to the club afterwards. They limoed us to the club. It was fucking it was great. It was fucking fantastic. It was fucking
sign autographs.
Free drinks.
Red carpet.
We had our own little VIP section. Everybody was hanging out. I mean, a VIP in Amarillo don't really mean nothing. Like you're here, they're there. That's what it means.
Right.
You want to be over there anyway because that's where everybody's at. So
the bottle service is Mountain Dew. They hand you a Mountain Dew with a sparkler sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yep. DJ shouted us out. It was a great time. Great time. Cause we were on the radio and stuff, like real radio. Not like radio at somebody's house. Like we went to like a real radio station.
Like an FM station?
Yeah. It was like a real radio station.
Wasn't just some AM bullshit.
Yeah, we did their drive time radio on Saturday. Their Saturday afternoon.
All right, I'm sitting here with the comedians from this Saturday's show. We've been having a ball during the commercial break.
That was a black radio station. So
we've been having a ball during the commercials. You guys got to go out and see these guys. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah, I've done a lot of that shit. That white radio shows. Ugh.
I've not done that many actually.
Oh, it wasn't in town. I've done Mexican radio. I've done. Everybody's speaking Spanish. I'm just looking like. They switch to English, talk to me, and they switch back to Spanish. I'm like, oh, okay, fellas.
And you're in the corner like, hey, speak English, goddammit.
Yeah.
What country are we in right now?
And then the white radio is always the same. It's always. Here's an interesting thing. I didn't get to do this when I was coming up, but Steve Harvey would take, when he would do morning radio, he would take donuts.
Okay.
So he would take like donuts and like juice when he went to go do radio. So the spot, for those who don't understand this, anytime there's a comedy show, They want you to pump the show. So one day, maybe two, you got to go in and do radio. Okay, that means you got to get your ass up out of bed, which is hard for comedians. They send a car over. If you're lucky, they send a car. Generally, they send some poor kid from the comedy club's got to come take you to radio. You go to radio and maybe you do a spot on the morning show. Now, the people on the morning, and by a spot, it's like maybe 10 minutes, maybe. People on the morning show envision themselves as being comedians, so they're always trying to show the audience that they're funnier than you. So it fucking sucks.
It's their show. You can't outshine them.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. But black radio, that was white radio, by the way. Black radio is basically the same, except it's more like you're talking to people that you know because they're black and you're black, so you have like connection. And by the way, you can say the whole show. That's the thing. You can just say the whole show, and now you're just part of the show. That's different.
What's the advantage then? What do you get out of bringing donuts?
Because it kind of
they just like you.
That makes them want to keep you around. That was like Steve was like he would like talk to the people and be on the show with them and hang out with them, and he would like basically it's just like being nice to the waitstaff. Like we always tell young comics, you better be nice to the waitstaff, man. You better be nice to the waitstaff because they the ones gonna make sure that because somebody gonna ask, "Hey, what do you think of that comment?" And we're like, "Don't bring him," and you ain't coming back.
Right. Or they might say, "We like having that guy around."
Yeah. Be nice to the waitstaff, man. Always be nice to the waitstaff and tip them for bringing you your stuff. Just tip them. Yeah, man. So he would just take donuts and juice. Which you walk in with free donuts, everybody's happy. Everybody gets happy to see you. Hey, what's happening?
Right.
And then you just sit down and you do radio. You hang out with them, join in their little call-in things. They do all that kind of shit. You just got to be on for a couple of hours. Then you go back to the hotel and go back to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do that much. Every now and then I would get asked to go sit in. Usually it's because one of the other comics couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like the Improv had me go once to Q107 in DC because I guess the headliner, whoever was above me couldn't make it, and I went and plugged the show. I think it was a side show. It wasn't at the club. It was like a spot somewhere else.
At that time, do you think you had the personality to sit in on radio?
No. No, but that show was like, it was somewhat pre-prepared. Yeah. You would tell them, ask me this.
Yeah.
And they would ask you a question. Because I remember the guy asked me like the questions out of order. He messed up. Like I had a question and then the follow-up was like the rest of the bit. Because you're doing your bits.
Right.
It was like that. And then he screwed it up. He asked the wrong question first. And I had to sort of maneuver him back to asking me the first question. They had a live audience in that morning show. It was Jack Diamond in the morning.
Ugh.
And yeah, they used to have a lot. Like it was just a bunch of like moms.
Yeah,
like it was like a bunch. It was like 12 middle-aged ladies just sitting in the corner of a radio studio.
Ugh.
But you could play to them if you're a comic, which wasn't bad. But it was. I
don't think you had to act for 12 middle-aged ladies.
Yeah, but it was because they were happy. They were so happy to be there. They loved this show. They wanted to hang out. They probably won the chance to go sit in the studio and watch Jack Diamond in the morning. And
I think I did his show once.
He was an institution. He was around for years in DC.
I was opening for somebody and I did his show.
Diamond in the morning.
Yeah.
Because my opening story, which was a real story, years and years earlier, when I was a kid, I was like, I don't know, 14, 13, maybe. I was like going through the radio stations, just looking for something to listen to. And I stumbled upon, I hit Q107. It was like, call in now to win. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay. I called in and I won. And I won tickets to see the Bee Gees because they were like, they had a reunion tour.
Yeah.
They had a song called One, I think, or an album called One. They had gotten back together. And of course, I never went to the station to pick up my tickets, right? So years later, I got on that show and I told the story. I'm like, yeah, so years ago, I called in and I won Bee Gees tickets. I still haven't picked them up, so I was hoping you guys could like look in the closet to see if you have my Bee Gees tickets. Yeah. So we had fun with that. I remember that was like the opening little icebreaker story, and then it was just like and then it just asked me my prepared questions.
Of course, of course.
Call in to win.
Of course,
I was probably the only person who called.
Yeah, right. That's why they were just waiting, and finally some kid calls.
Yeah.
Send your parents up here to get the tickets.
It had to have been like 87 or something. They had some reunion thing at the time.
Send your parents. Speaking of comics, I was listening to D.L. Hughley today. By the way, people, I've said this last night. You guys are really getting in the way of my conversations with Andy during the day. I'd be like, I need to call in and talk to Andy about this. Let's save it for the pod. Save it for the pod.
And then we don't get to it?
Yeah, no, we don't get to it.
Yeah.
Andy sent me a clip the other day of Big J. Oakerson on... Whose podcast was he on?
He might have been on his. It was him and Robert Kelly. I think he was on The Bonfire, which is his show.
Is that his show? Okay. It looked like Sirius? Robert Kelly. And they were complaining. Okay, so D.L. Hughley on his show had talked about the Kevin Hart roast. He talked about that. So the fallout from the roast continues. D.L. was just upset, of course. Shit on everybody. And he says at one point, you got Nazi on stage with you. Okay. Cut to Big J. Oakerson, who was there.
Well, hold on. So DL's guy, they had a social media guy, cuts together a clip of DL talking, which then cuts to pictures of comedians
on stage
while he's calling someone a Nazi.
He's talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. Because as soon as he said that, I actually was listening to that DL show when he said it. And as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, he's talking about Tony Hinchcliffe.
But his guy put up pictures of Tony Hinchcliffe and Jay Oakerson and Shane Gillis.
Right.
And so Hinchcliffe is the guy he was talking
referring
about.
to, yes.
And so Jay Oakerson saw this clip, which was posted by DL. It wasn't someone else like selectively editing and adding
it goes through DL's. Yeah, it goes through DL's.
Yeah, it was on DL's page or his podcast page or whatever. And so then Jay was kind of like, how am I in it?
Yeah.
In his way, which was like, I can pull it up. It's like 4 minutes long though.
Yeah, it's just so long.
And he, I got it right here. Hold on.
You got it? Yeah. Well, then you get the DL ready too, then, because.
Yeah, I'll have to get that. I know you sent it earlier. Yeah. I'll have to post or pick up that link.
It's real long. This is this whole show.
Right. So this is Big J, and Robert Kelly's on with him too. And then I don't know who that is. The woman.
Well, I heard about this, and here's
what is it? What is this? Tell us what this is.
This is something I was told. D.L. Hughley was talking about the roast.
You want me to play it?
Lewis told me this. If you could, I know we got.
Never imagined working on the same panel with a dude who I believe to be a Nazi, and I do. When a white dude says he wants freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff, it's really just to say. But I knew when I saw the lineup for that roast, I knew it would be.
I mean, just stop. Can I just say something though? It does go from you to Shane to a Nazi. It looks like the SS.
So
that was the order of the pictures. It was Jay, then Shane Gillis, then Tony Hinchcliffe as the third. So then
Jay starts bashing DL, starts in on his hat.
Tony has no eyebrows. I never noticed that.
Years ago, he was at a Nazi rally, and now he's with it was on Jumanji.
Play it again.
They said it's implied. It's implied because they show your picture. So he's obviously talking about Tony. He's talking about him doing the Trump rally, but then he shows pictures of you and Shane and groups you in.
I saw this group. You saw this group in what? You fucking pontificating asshole. Be funny, face, for 5 seconds. Stop bitching.
That is the one thing about
it. Watching black guys in fucking Django hats fucking tell me how the world works now and let me know that I'm a Nazi. It's fucking hilarious. A bunch of fucking stooges.
Lewis commented.
What did Louis say?
Louis get into it, but it's the same. They're not the word Nazi means something exactly. It's like, and it's probably not Jewish people yet again. Fucking dumb DL Hughley. And if you're saying you didn't call me a Nazi and you're calling Tony, it doesn't matter. You're showing a picture of me in this thing. I saw this lineup and I thought to myself, I don't know anything is what you thought to yourself, because I've known Kev since we started together is why I was on the roast. Yeah. Not to go give Nazi propaganda, you fucking jerk off.
Yeah, get another hat and a cigar and shut the fuck up.
If you want to tune in, I know we're leaving here soon. I'm going to go to Legion of Skanks. I'll tell you for sure. I'm not a Nazi. That is a fact. No. But he is a bitch of a guy, fucking D.O. Hughley. That's a fact. It's doing something like that is so fucking funky.
It's bullshit.
And even kind of go like, that's shitty to apologize. Because the thing is, I said 2 days ago, I've never thought D.O. Hughley was funny, but that means nothing. That's subjective. I don't give. It's not my thing.
Yeah. You don't like learning?
I respect him as a I don't like being talked to about. Yeah, I don't know if I find the teachings of Farrakhan that funny. I don't
DL talked about that
where they're doing this.
Just putting their hand,
putting their finger on their chin and temple to go. It's like time to get to it.
Well, this show also, the still on the show looks like it's a political show. It doesn't look like it's a.
Oh, the world's going behind him. He's got to let you know what he feels about the earth.
Yeah.
He's only been famous for fucking 65 years.
Always has said to me, I hate comics that go political.
Yeah.
That's why you dump Dave off of the Skanks.
Yeah. I had to boot my own best friend. I'm sick of these fucking politics. But again, he's lumping me in with this fucking thing, and it's like without knowing anything. And this thing is going to be like, well, I don't know who you are. It's like, well, maybe don't put up a video implying that I'm a fucking Nazi.
It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Just shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
I don't dislike you now, DL, because you're black. It's because you're black and dumb. It's got to be both.
I wish everybody.
All right. There's another minute of that. Yeah. We got the gist of it. We got most of it, actually. And so that was a couple days ago, I guess. And so
DL addressed it today.
I'll pull that one up because DL went on his show today and talked about. And it's a reaction to a reaction now, basically. Talked about Jay, who I guess he doesn't know. It sounds like. All right, let me get that one up. All right, so here's that one.
We good?
Okay. Here's that one. Yeah. Okay. So this is DL now clapping back.
Black guys in fucking Django hats. Fucking tell me how the world works now.
I know that dude about as much as he knows salads. I don't know who he is. I think somebody put up a picture. I guess his name was on it, and he was responding.
I want to apologize for the picture because, technically, I told my editor to put in 3
this is a cut of it.
Famous racist people from the roast.
Okay.
Because he's not a famous racist.
No.
I saw this lineup and I thought to myself, the world's going behind him. He's got to let you know what he feels about the earth. I don't dislike you now, DL, because you're black. It's because you're black and dumb.
Look, don't tell me I'm dumb when your diet lets me know you.
Okay, hold up.
Tell me that.
Okay, so
the only reason he wears a nail polish so it looks like a girl is touching his dick.
I listened to this today.
Don't talk about where I put my dick when you can't see you. My 40-year comedy career will last longer than your heart.
I see these white boys up there. They doing the fuck out of here, these white boys.
It is kind of
also he's such a hack.
He is a hack.
You look at that riff he did. He's just like a lesser Kurt Metzger. He doesn't even have his own voice.
I don't like how fast white dudes get to whiten.
First, when you made the joke in the clip, all these racist white guys want to do with freedom of speech is say the N-word. Right. You see him slow motion going like this, I know what I've done my whole life.
Right.
Secondly, he brought up you talking about Farrakhan on the show.
I've never once mentioned Louis Farrakhan at all.
Yeah.
So he's fat and a liar, just like he lies on his diet plan.
One of his only quote unquote decent jokes, was talking about your hat, right? But the kicker is you didn't even wear that hat in the episode where the clip is happening.
Here's a true thing. That is a Nick Fouquet hat, right?
Yeah.
I could trade that hat in and it'd be bigger than any payday he ever got. Take my name out your mouth and you'll have more room for snacks, fat ass.
Okay, hold up, Andy. Hold up. Okay, so at the beginning of all this, when he starts talking about the show, he says distinctly that, look, if somebody had said that I was associated with Nazis and I wasn't, then I would be upset and I would say the same thing. So he said that in the beginning. I was talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. at the beginning of everything. He was like, that's the Nazi I was talking about on stage. Tony Hinchcliffe, not you. Okay. Having said that, now somebody in the chat already said it. Listen, I know Jay a little bit. Andy knows Jay a little bit. I haven't talked to him in years.
I don't really know him. I don't know if I ever really.
Used to play basketball with him in the Astoria League. And he was out there like, nice guy. Started in black rooms. He's 100%. He started with Kevin in black rooms. And he was one of the dudes that what's my man's name, used to ferry him around? Keith Robinson used to ferry him around and stuff like that. Jay was one of the few white guys to go. Remember when Puffy had a comedy show? Remember that? Does anybody remember that?
The HBO show?
Yeah, Puffy had an HBO show for a minute doing comedy. I think it was on HBO. Jay was on that. He was one of the few white guys that was on that and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, Jay made this turn into, I'm going to say the N-word because comedy is supposed to be off limits and anybody can talk about anything they want. And that's when I stopped fucking with him. Just out of nowhere, he made that turn. And then he started dressing like an extra from a Dice Clay movie. Because before that, he didn't dress like that. And then I don't know where he just started the fingernail polish, the chain, with the chain wallet, the whole thing, the spiky hair, the whole thing. So he has this show called, it wasn't Def Comedy Jam, but it was like Def Comedy Jam. Somebody in the chat saying Def Comedy Jam. It was like Def Comedy Jam, but it was done by Sean.
It was like Bad Boy. I think
it was called Bad Boys, a comedy. I think it was called Bad Boys, a comedy.
Puffy's not going to not brand his show with Bad Boy at that point.
Right. You can probably look up the sets on YouTube.
Yeah, there's some out there.
He made that turn and became what I call those white comics. He became like that. Like, I can say the N-word, and he would like go back and forth to people about why can't I say it? And people would be like, hey man, don't say that. And he would go back and forth to people about it and shit like that. So I stopped fucking with it. Bad Boys of Comedy. Thank you. Yeah. So the fact that he was wanting to go down this road is fine. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I'm relatively sure he has done Tony Hinchcliffe's show. He's kicked it with Tony Hinchcliffe. So no, you're not a Nazi, but you're fine with Nazis. You're fine moving in that world of these people because they're not like that with me. So who gives a fuck? They don't even like the word Nazi being applied to their racist asses. They don't like Nazi, they don't like white nationalists, none of that. But that's who their acts are for, those people. That's who it's for. So I'm supposed to act like that's not what's happening when you know that's what's happening. That's why I don't fuck with you. I don't move in that world. I have no desire to move in that world. What I don't get is why everyone keeps making excuses for this white nationalist dude, or they just don't talk about it. I've heard comics that I respect making excuses for it. I've heard all these things. I'm like, I don't get it. Okay. 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 I mean, it's cool. Okay. Here's another thing DL pointed out about Kevin that, Kevin, when he did that thing about his son, talking about how his son being gay and blah, blah, blah. He went on an apology tour of everywhere. He was on Ellen. He was everywhere apologizing to the gay community. Okay. So somebody's on your platform talking about George Floyd being in hell. Now, you know what George Floyd means to Black people, right? You know what he means to Black people, and you defended him from doing that. You've set the precedent already. Now, you didn't say it, but you laughed at it and you defended it. Okay, you flat out defended it. And you said it was fine. Not fine to me. So it's interesting what's fine to you and what's not fine to you. This is what's fine to you. Anti-Blackness, that's fine to you. Then now I'm talking about Kevin now. Anti-blackness is what's fine to you. Just because, hey, it's comedy and comedy, okay. All right.
Trey said, I remember Willie DJ Robo on That Was a Comedy. I think he's DC guy.
Yeah, he was on
Willie Robo.
Yeah, DC dude.
Yeah, he was on Def Jam too, I think. He was on Showtime the Apollo years ago. I remember that.
Yep, years
Willie
ago.
Robo. Jay was kind of a mistaken identity a little bit because they put up a picture of him, and I could see where you'd be like, "Hey, what the fuck? What are you doing?" You know, I could see having a reaction to that. I would if someone was talking about Nazi comedians, and my picture flashes up. I'd be like, "Hey, man, take that shit down.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. That's not me." So on that level, I'm like, yeah, I guess I would probably have some kind of visceral reaction to that. And I would probably, push back and say, that's not me. Take that shit down. I don't think I would go into attack mode and be like, you're dumb and black, or I don't like because you're black and dumb. And like, that's kind of whatever. It's like now you're kind of doing roasts. You're trying to roast him and then he's going to try to roast you back and all that kind of shit. I probably wouldn't have gone that far with it. In Jay's shoes, I would have just been like, no, that's not me. You're talking about somebody else. So why are you putting my picture up? You should take that post down and leave it at that. Everything that came after that was like defensiveness, defensive of the terminology used, sort of defensive of being lumped in with these people, but then kind of defending these people as well, So to that end, I'm like, just, you can disavow. You can say I was there for Kevin because we started together and I didn't like some of the shit people were saying too. Like that's not a hard needle to thread. You could even say anything goes in comedy, but I still don't feel like that was cool to be talking shit about, lynching jokes and George Floyd and all that kind of stuff. Cause you're not even on topic anymore. You're not even on topic of the person being roasted. I mean, the lynching joke was he's little, I guess, but the George Floyd joke is not even, it has no relation to anything, And so I don't know why it's so hard to just say that. I know there's this thing, this kind of thin blue line of never cross the line, never criticize another comedian, never say a joke was inappropriate or shouldn't be allowed. But when I'm not on stage, I'm in the audience, and so I'm part of the audience too. You're not just part of the fraternity of comedians. You're also part of the audience at times. And it's okay to say, hey, I have standards and these didn't meet my standards, or that was fucked up, rather than just, hey, it's a fucking roast. Anything goes, whatever. You say whatever you want. It's not that hard to hold both of those ideas. And so that sort of defensiveness, I don't really see the point of that. I don't see what, other than just, a hit dogs holler kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to me that's the most thought out response. And, DL's, his guy said, yeah, I kind of screwed up on the pictures. I mean, even DL's response was just like fat jokes. I'm like, like whatever. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It can just be like, it makes the conversation less thoughtful. And on both ends, really. But I don't know. I don't know why you can't just have a thoughtful conversation about like where roasts have gone and what they used to be and what they are now. I think mainly the roasts now, one thing I have an issue with, this roast is just part of it, is that the star of the roast is the people doing the roasting.
Right.
When it used to be the guest of honor, everyone's trying to outdo each other and come up with the most outrageous thing and outlandish thing. And it's not really, it's not centered anywhere. It's just, let me just say the craziest shit possible. And it's not about the people on the dais anymore or the people being roasted or even the people in the room. It's just people in pop culture. Everyone's going to get it. It's a roast. What'd you expect? Well, roasts had expectations in the past. It's like everyone is consensual. Everyone knows what they're getting into on stage. And that's where the roast is focused. And now it's like randomly jokes about, people in pop culture or people who've been murdered, and it doesn't make any sense. So just from a standpoint of like comedians, what a comedy roast should be, you can have objections to it. from the actual type of content, the Tony Hinchcliffe joke, why is it so hard to just say that was fucked up and he's fucked up? You know? I don't know why that's a big deal.
Can't do that, man. You just can't do that. And gotta have the freedom to say whatever I want to say. You know? Gotta want to be able to say this. So there's nothing wrong with me being upset. No, what you want is a freedom of consequence. That's what you want. You don't want any consequences coming your way. Be able to say whatever you want, and everybody else is just supposed to be able to have to take it. Well, okay.
Yeah, well,
you can say whatever you want,
and you can just not watch the roast, which is what I did.
That's what I do.
You can't escape it because the clips are out there now, and everyone's talking about it. Which, of course, if you then talk about it, everyone's like, "Oh, you fell for it. The roast did its job. It got you talking." It's like, you can't win in that situation. I just personally, roasts have kind of jumped the shark for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Separately from who Tony Hinchcliffe is as a person.
Right.
If this roast never happened, I'd still have the same opinions about Tony Hinchcliffe.
Right.
If the George Floyd joke never happened, I would still feel a certain way about Tony Hinchcliffe.
All he's doing is validating what I know of him. So,
right.
Chelsea Handler went in on him and Shane Gillis.
Right.
I didn't know Nick Mullen was one of the writers. I'm like, here's what I know. When you put a group of white dudes together, or white writers together, you're going to get nigger jokes. You're going to get black jokes. You're going to get just black. That's what you're going to get. It's like particularly if the subject is black, you're getting black jokes. That's all you're getting. That's like
we don't know. We don't know what jokes Nick Mullen wrote.
We don't. But I do know if you are attached to that show, then you now are attached to it. You can't get the stink off you. That's kind of how the shit works. You're attached to it, so now the stink is on you. The stink of this now is on you. It's funky, but you don't have anybody black on your writing. Che pointed that out. There's nobody black writing on a show that's about a beloved black figure. And no one found that odd. And no one said, "Hey, that's kind of weird. Don't you think we should have a black guy on this? Black woman? Somebody black? We ain't gonna have nobody black on this show." Then the defiance starts to kick in. Well, what do we need black people for? We can do it. We don't have to have them. Okay. You're going to be questioned. You didn't even have somebody black in the room? It's the same thing. It reminds me of when Jon Stewart and what's that light-skinned comic that he got into it with him when he was in the room on The Daily Show. What's his name? I have a joke.
On the Daily Show?
Yeah, I lost a joke to him. What is that light-skinned comic? He left The Daily Show because of that. Him and Jon Stewart got into it. He said he talked about it on Maron's show. And then, what is his name?
I don't even. I'm trying to think.
He had his own show on HBO.
Trying to figure out.
Black comic who left.
Hold on, I'm going to Google some weird things altogether.
I'm about to Google black comic who left Daily Show.
Oh, Wyatt Cenac. It's Wyatt Cenac. I didn't get to the Google part. I remember that story.
I had a joke that's literally Wyatt and I had a joke that was almost word for word exactly alike about Lord of the Rings. I was like, look at these nerd minds working in tandem. Yeah. It reminds me of that. Like you're the black guy in the room and you speak up. Hey man, you might not want to do that. The room will turn on you.
So what about the argument though?
Walter Mosley. It happened to Walter Mosley. What argument?
The argument though that but you're cool with all the pedophile jokes and the rape jokes and the jokes about other cultures and races. So we can do those, but not these.
Am I cool with those jokes? What jokes are we talking about? What I would say.
You're not saying anything about those jokes on social media. You're just saying things about the George Floyd joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Now what? So So, but that's hypocritical. That's the counter argument, right?
First of all, we don't know that that's what's happening. We're talking about that joke because that joke was in our face, because the racism was in our face. What are these other rape jokes? What are these other jokes? Tell me the jokes.
I didn't watch the roast.
Exactly. Tell me the jokes and I'll talk about them. You know what I mean? If it is something that I feel that catches me off or makes me say that. There may be, there wasn't in this case. If there was, it would have been talked about. You know, Chelsea Handler talked about how everybody just kept trying about how about she's old and she fucks. I heard her on a podcast saying that. She says, I'm rich and I have sex. There you go. I do what men do, you know, and I'm going to keep having sex so I can't have sex, you know. No, I don't see any. And yeah, thank you, chat. That wouldn't even slow me down in a counter argument.
And the argument is basically anything goes should include race jokes, right?
And I would tell tell me what's the joke about talking about George Floyd.
And if you, well, yeah, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying the argument is if all these other topics are not off limits, why is that topic off limits?
And an easy thing to know is say, I didn't say the topic was off limits. I didn't say that. What I said is if you put a bunch of white dudes in a room and tell them to write, and the subject is a black person, it's just going to be race. There's not going to have anything else to talk about because that's where their mind immediately goes to. And not just race, hateful ass shit about race. Hanging, you did a hanging joke, a lynching joke.
Right.
That's where their minds went to, a lynching joke. Somebody's mind went to that. Now, I don't know if it was the people in this writing room whose minds went to that. I don't know if it was people. I do not know that. It could be that was Shane Gillis's joke. Could have just been his joke. He also may have had writers who helped him write those jokes. It could have just been his joke. Hell, they could have had somebody black write that joke for him. It wouldn't surprise me. But the reason why you do that joke is because you're talking about, because you know what hanging means to black people. In the case of black people, no one says a hanging joke in reference to any other race other than black people.
Right.
You just don't do that. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that's done. You know, so you know, I don't really have much. I don't really have much to add to that. It's the roast seems to have taken on this whole like cottage industry of discourse at this point, and I think everything that's going to be said has been said about it. I don't know what else can be said about it. It's just a question of what is a roast anymore. Is it a place where you just say hateful shit, or not just about the people on stage or about the people being honored or the people in the crowd who have kind of consented to be part of this thing? Because that could be fun. Or is it just about saying crazy, over the top, hateful shit about entire cultures or entire acts, you know, things that would trigger people? I'm going to trigger the people the most. The most clever way of triggering people is the goal with the joke. Like a TPS.
To me, that's just...
The chat is saying, anybody telling a train joke for a Jewish person?
I bet they are.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think jokes like that are told about Jewish people. There's Holocaust references in these roasts. That does happen. I mean, Cheryl Underwood's husband killed himself, and they did jokes about that. I don't know if they would do jokes about someone getting raped who has been raped. I don't know if that would be off limits, but certainly jokes about other cultures have been done that were hardcore, quote unquote, jokes.
Hardcore, baby.
And I don't know. It's an exercise in joke writing, I guess, a certain type of joke writing. But to me, like the target is just now just the whole world at large. You know, that the joke is not about the people in the room anymore who understand and who get it, and it's all in fun because they know each other and there's an understanding there. It's just taking shots at whoever you can under the guise of it's just a roast. You knew what you were getting into. Like, well, no, that doesn't apply anymore because you're making jokes about things that aren't in this room who didn't know what they were getting into. I don't know, it just kind of jumped the shark to me. That's all.
I think it went over a long.
Yeah, TPS says Cheryl's husband was different. That's an individual, not a mass atrocity. To her, it might not be different. And like she was on the podcast talking about it too. That she knew they were going to talk about her husband. She didn't know what the jokes were going to be. She was okay with them going that route. But that's like, again, that's still to the person on stage. It's not to just a mass thing about suicide or whatever, racism, rape, whatever. It's somewhat confined to the people on that stage.
Kamal,
it could still trigger someone in the audience who's had something like that happen.
Chad is saying that W. Kamal Bell has a piece about roast and history of roast. So does Michael Harriot. Michael Harriot did a breakdown on his Contraband Camp about the difference between a roast and roasting. And he also talks about the history of roast, how comedians weren't even involved. It wasn't even a comic thing. The whole history of roast.
Yeah, and things don't have to be what they were originally. They evolve and change. That's history isn't just stuck where it was. I just think where it's evolved to has gotten to a point where I'm just like, it's not really fun or entertaining anymore. It's just kind of like, can you top this with the most offensive, foul joke that you can come up with? And there's not that sort of communal aspect to it where we're just shit talking each other, because people always compare it to like, that's the dozens. The dozens is people talking shit to each other who know each other. And there's a parallel to roast, but not anymore. That's my point. It's not just, it has evolved to this other thing. It's not just people who know each other and you, the viewer, are getting an insight into how they fuck with each other, how people in the business fuck with each other, the way you and your friends might fuck with each other on other topics, That's all. It's just, it's just not it's not a fresh thing anymore.
No. Another topic that we promised we'd get to, we'll probably just talk about this and wrap it up. So the NAACP has asked that students, top flight athlete students, don't go to pull up the whole request they ask, Andy, because they're very specific this time. Very specific. The NAACP put out a letter to athletes saying, don't go to schools in the SEC.
NAACP today is launching, this is a couple days ago, launching the Out of Bounds campaign, a national call for Black athletes, families, fans, alumni, and consumers to withhold athletic and financial support from public universities in states that have moved to limit, weaken, or erase Black voting representation in the wake of the Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling in Louisiana versus Calais, however you say it, which gutted what was left of the Voting Rights Act. The NAACP identified 8 priority states: Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia, and targeted flagship public athletic programs generating more than $100 million in annual revenue that continue to recruit Black athletes while their state governments dismantle the political power of Black communities. Quote, what these states have done is not a policy disagreement. It's a sprint to erase Black political power, said Derek Johnson, national president and CEO at NAACP. These actions happen in days, in some cases hours, of a Supreme Court ruling that gives extremist lawmakers a playbook to erode Black representation. The NAACP will not watch the same institutions that depend on Black athletic prowess to fill their stadiums and their bank accounts remain silent while their states strip Black communities of their vote. Out of Bounds is our answer. We are naming the contradiction, and we are calling on Black athletes, families, fans, and consumers to act on it. The same power that built these programs can be redirected, and it will be. The economic stakes of the campaign are significant. The flagship universities in the 8 targeted states collectively generate billions of dollars in annual athletic revenue. So that's it. That's their press release, basically.
Okay, so they're not just asking students, they're asking everybody. everybody. So, listen, I thought about this for the last couple of days, and I agree with it. I don't see. There's no point for a top flight athlete to go play at these fucking schools. They gave a list of schools. There are plenty of schools you can go to. Just don't go to these schools. The argument that was made immediately that I heard was there was a couple of arguments. The one argument was you're telling the kids to give up everything. I'm like, no, they're not. That's not what they're telling them. They're telling them just don't go to these schools. You're going to get recruited to other schools. You're a top flight athlete. You're getting recruited to other schools. You're getting recruited to Michigan. You're getting recruited to USC. You're getting recruited. You're not just getting recruited to Louisiana or Mississippi or Bama. You're not. By the way, those schools didn't bring in black students, and they lost a lot. They just didn't bring black students in. So top flight black athletes went elsewhere until they finally integrated these schools and started bringing in black athletes. So there's a history there that is not that long ago. It's really not. Now, the next argument I heard was, well, you're going to go to another place that's going to be racist, just as racist, like if you go to Indiana or if you go to Michigan or someplace. Well, it's going to be racist there, or Ohio. It's not going to be any better. Yes, okay. That's true. Think about this. When people were doing the Great Migration from the South to the North, to let's say Chicago, do you think those black people didn't know that there was also racism happening in Chicago? Of course there was. Vicious racism was happening in Chicago and happening in New York and happening in Louisiana. But you weren't living underneath the threat of state death being brought upon you. Of just leaving your house and not coming home because you get hung. It was organized violence that was sanctioned by the state through Jim Crow. That's what you were leaving. Okay. Well, it's arrived again now in the South. So here we are. It's back again. So if I can go to another place and play where I'm not being impacted by this, specifically impacted by this, why wouldn't I tell my kid, you can't play there. Why am I watching these shows? Why am I giving my money to these shows? Why am I buying gear from these teams? Why am I doing this? You have reduced me to a second-class citizen in this state, and now I'm going to support you. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's the thing that I think should get more of the focus, because whenever they say these things generate millions or billions of dollars, they say in this thing, they're targeting programs generating more than $100 million in annual revenue. They generate that money because people watch and buy tickets and buy the merch and all the above. So are people going to stop watching? Because that seems to be too big of an ask for a lot of people to stop watching their Saturday college football, or not just football, basketball too, all the major sports. And they want the athletes to kind of do the heaviest lifting while they sort of sit back and still come out of it. I don't know. It's just
I don't want anybody to watch. I don't see the point of watching. I'm not going to support you with my eyes.
I'm not talking about you, though. I'm talking about there are people who are going to say athletes shouldn't go to these schools and are also going to watch.
Yeah, and what those people can do? They can go piss up a stick. Go piss up a fucking stick. You can do without. Furthermore, what the fuck are you doing? By the way, if you're one of those people, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Why are you supporting this? What the fuck are you thinking? That's what I would ask him. Just, what are you thinking? Explain. Make me understand that. What do you think? Well, I can just watch it. Well, yeah, you watching is what is uplifting this shit. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What are you doing? There are a lot of shows you could be watching. You don't have to be watching. And I don't want to hear your bullshit about, well, these other schools are racist too. I explained that already. I don't want to hear that horse shit. Just don't watch. It's not that hard.
It's not really about boycotting a particular school. It's about the state.
Right.
What the state is doing with its congressional maps and disenfranchising voters. So it's not that, this school is going to have racism there too. You shouldn't go to you're never going to find a school that doesn't unless you go to, I don't know, an HBCU, and who wants to do that?
Right, right.
But it's not even that. It's just people are trying to figure out how to express with beyond just their words, but with actions, their feelings toward these southern states. And the NAACP is saying, well, one thing that can be done is on the college level when you throw money at these universities. But, there's a lot of things that you can do that don't even involve universities or sports programs, because someone might not even watch sports and be like, well, okay, you're welcome, NAACP. I did my part by continuing to not tune in the college sports that I never watched anyway. So this is just people trying to find a way to express their feelings about all this stuff. And on this front in particular, the NAACP has released a statement, but it doesn't have to be on this front. You can fight on other fronts too, or withhold dollars on other fronts too. And I've said this before, I don't want all the focus to be on 18-year-olds to bail everyone out or make people be okay with their inaction because someone else has to take action.
I want a full court press, and I'm not okay with your inaction. I want a full court press.
Right.
Because that's where we're at. I want a full court 40 minutes of hell. How do you used to say it? 45 minutes of hell? I want a full court, in your face press from baseline to baseline. That's what I want.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see an athlete saying, "Okay, you first, fans." Show us you have our back here, because
and I have
you start
no
walking
problem,
around with an Ole Miss sweatshirt.
I have no problem with an athlete saying that,
right?
Because I want a full court. I want a full court press. I can put it to him. Listen, we're in a different time now, and everybody needs to act accordingly. Okay. My father grew up in a time. My father grew up a second-class citizen. He didn't have full rights. He got full rights in 1964. At 1964, he was then seen. By the way, he was in the military already. 1964, he was now seen as a full human being, basically. I was born in 1969. So I'm the first child in my father's family to be born with the full rights to this country. And I have lived long enough, and he has lived long enough to see those rights now reduced. That's fucking crazy. That in my lifetime, I was born into it, and now it has been reduced out of my life. When you think about it like that, people don't think about it like that. Like, I walk around places with people, they have more rights than me. Right now, on paper, they have more rights than me. They are more of a citizen than I am. Even though I live here in this state, I'm still less of a citizen than them. Because people who look like me, forces are aligning against them. Literally right now as we speak, forces are aligning against people who come from my community specifically. It's fucking insane. Okay. And that's the fucking truth of it. That's the truth of it. And what are the solutions to this? What are the solutions to this? And where the fuck does this stop? Where do we think it stops? We think it stops here in voting rights? No, it's the Civil Rights Act is next. Interracial marriage is next. Then gay marriage. You think it stops? Why would you believe that? 14th Amendment may be gone. If they can get it, they're going to take it. They've already told you this is what they want to do. So I'm for a full court press for everything. And I don't see it changing now in my lifetime. And I don't know if it's going to change now in my daughter's lifetime. I got to send my daughter out into this world. That's it's bananas. It's bananas. I'm not seen as an equal. Where does it end? I need somebody to tell me that. Where does it end? What Chad? Does Chad, y'all got any ideas where this ends? You know, I don't know. So if this helps, if this is the only avenue we have, which it seems to be, because the ballot box ain't gonna do no good, not in my mind. And I'm not saying not to vote. Of course, I'm saying to go vote. I just don't think it's gonna do any good because a majority of white people don't want to do this. So I don't know what the solution is. HBCUs. Here's how illmatic this is. Let's say these top flight athletes decide that they're going to go to HBCUs. I'm talking about 5-star recruits. All it would take is, let's say, 10 5-star recruits to say, fuck that, it's HBCU time. Okay. What do you think happens to the funding for HBCUs at that point? What do you think happens?
Well, they're going to be generating more money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that like it, when people tell athletes to go to HBCUs, part of the pitch is some of that money is going to funnel into HBCUs because they're going to get on TV.
I hope to God that happens, because that state money, the federal money that's supposed to be flowing in HBCUs, the billions of dollars that are already owned HBCUs will be yet further cut off. They'll try to choke HBCUs to death. They're already doing it now. At that South Carolina, they wanted to choke it off because they didn't want the lieutenant governor to come speak. So they immediately talked about choking off the money. The money that they've already shortchanged them, they're talking about choking that off. So let's say, 5 top flight guys are like, I'm going to these HBCUs. I'm not going to give my money to your state school. You think they're going to not come after them? That's what's going to happen. It's a funky situation, man. And I don't see an out other than something like this, which I got, chat.
I don't know if the goal is to even solutions. It's just, do what you can. I think looking at the scoreboard, like, did it work? Did it work? Did it work? Are we back? You're always going to find, those forces at work, the pushback. So it can't be that. It can't be, did it solve anything? Did it work? Because all that leads to is discouragement. It's letting perfect be the enemy of good. And then you just lose morale. So I don't know what the solution is either. No one really knows what the solution is, but, voting has to be part of it. And I think that's one of the fronts that they're fighting on too, is they're putting information into the bloodstream, into the information stream that will demotivate people and discourage people from voting. And so that, anything that discourages people from sort of taking the proper action, I think is an issue. And some of the scare tactics, like if you don't go to these schools, you won't get drafted. That's part of the plan to get people to not consider, being recruits for different schools. And I don't know if I don't have the answers either. I don't know if anyone really has any answers. It's just fight on the front that you can fight on. And
that's why I'm for this. I'm for a full court press. Let's start a full court press. Let's go ahead and not support these schools. And I was listening to Jamel Hill on her podcast was saying, start asking these professional athletes who went to these schools. Ask them what they think. I've also heard people saying, why don't you ask the white players? I'm not asking white players nothing. They're not. I don't care. I don't.
They're
care.
Off the clock.
I don't care. They're not part of this. But
they're off the clock. They're busy.
I would ask Coca-Cola, hey, you're based in the South. You're based in Georgia. What y'all doing about this? You cool with this? Because a lot of your employees, I'm looking in the chat right now, a lot of your employees, this is going to directly impact them. You're based in Atlanta. It's going to directly impact you. What are y'all doing about this? You good with this? You good with what your governor's doing? Locking the people of this state out of political power? You're good with that? Or are you not? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think we should lean on corporations. I think we should lean everywhere we possibly can. everywhere we can. We got to push. We got to push back, and it has to be. It can't just be us. It needs to be people of good conscience. But sadly, I don't think there's that many.
Well, I mean, some of these pressure campaigns took place in the summer of 2020, the summer of George Floyd protests, and you saw some.
It was 2020, so I can't believe it was
6 years ago. We're coming up on probably like literally the 6th anniversary of George Floyd being killed.
Yeah, we are.
It was the end of May, I think. So, but remember, there was a lot of corporations that were like, guys, we've been listening. Like that. There was like this. There was this movement in like that summer fall time frame of 2020. It seemed to lead to big corporations saying things out loud and plainly that they would never say before about race relations in particular, and taking action. Starting different programs and hiring practices and evaluating themselves. And now that sort of, once Trump took office last year, it all just kind of started falling away one after another. A lot of companies were like, oh, now that we don't have to do that anymore, we're going to actually close that DEI office that we had or that program that we had for equality that we were touting a few years ago. We're going to quietly end that program and fire everyone in that office. So, asking them to do things, it's all these things. There's no magic bullet. It's just going to have to be everyone kind of doing a little bit, whatever they can do and hoping it works. All the Supreme Court stuff was decided in 2016. That's all the other corruption is, that's present day. That's because of the votes in 2024. Et cetera. But the Supreme Court stuff was lost in 2016. And this is just the ripple effect of that, because Trump got to appoint 3 judges. He may get to appoint a couple more. He may be able to swap out Alito and Clarence Thomas for a younger model before he leaves office, and then you're going to have more seats that won't change for a very long time because they're all like 45 years old or even younger than that.
That's why you need court reform.
Supreme Court Justice Aileen Cannon, come on down. You're next. And then 2 Democrats will vote to confirm along with other Republicans. Like some of that stuff, this is all the ripple effect of that. And also the preservation of norms that a lot of Democrats have tried to sort of ride for all these years. And some of them have broken away from that finally. But this thing about like 1 or 2 people will still vote for for Robert F. Kennedy or for whoever it might be to lead this agency or that, or to be a Supreme Court justice. The urgency has to ramp up across the board. But yeah, we just saw that happen 6 years ago where like the window opened, grand opening, and then grand closing. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a nice run. It was a good 3-4 year run until it was time to cozy up to Trump because he was going to call us out on Truth Social and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Occupy Raps to this. Yeah. It was right around Memorial Day when George Floyd died. I think it was that weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. It was like the video hit like that Sunday or Monday, hit the internet. So yeah, that's coming up next week or this weekend.
And then so watch all the jokes that are told. Watch all the horrific shit that's about to be sold.
Occupy said, fools didn't believe fat meat is greasy in 2016.
Nope.
Damn, I sound like my mother the older I get. I don't think I've heard that one.
Fat meat is greasy? Yeah,
people didn't believe that fat meat is greasy.
Fat meat. Oh, so you just don't believe fat meat's greasy, huh? Yeah.
And I definitely haven't heard that one before.
Yeah. That shit is applied. That shit, it ain't supposed to mean nothing, but everybody understands what it means. It's one of those.
You don't believe the truth is what it means.
Oh,
you don't believe what's right in front of your eyes.
Crazy, huh?
I sure do. It's fat. It's fat. Fat meat is greasy.
Fat meat's greasy. Yep.
Greasy, fat meat.
Greasy, fatty meat. Yeah.
Someone asked if we talked about the landlord who.
Let's save that for Saturday.
Yeah, I got a bookmark. There's a news report video. We'll talk about that Saturday.
Hold on for Saturday.
Who? Also, what we can talk about Saturday or finish up tonight. Trump's slush fund, his January 6th fund, seems to be not that popular among Republicans.
Imagine that.
And Republicans have abandoned plans to pass a bill funding immigration enforcement amid disagreements over President Trump's ballroom and his $1.8 billion slush fund, a setback caused almost entirely by the president's desire for vanity projects and his endless quest for payback. Basically, the Senate was supposed to vote on this budget, and they decided today, we're not voting. We're going to just recess until June. They canceled plans to vote, opting for an early start in their Memorial Day recess instead of heading back to their districts with a win and ending months-long crisis over funding and at the DHS. It left a stew over disagreements about two wildly unpopular presidential priorities. The two I just mentioned, the ballroom project and the slush fund. We are ready to move this. We want to get our enforcement officers regularly funded. And unfortunately, some decisions were made that got off the rails, said Ted Budd, Republican of North Carolina. Ted Budd is his name. Budd. So anyway, I don't know if it's going to mean anything. They might come back from their break and just vote for all this stuff. But, maybe a couple will break away. Maybe this slush fund won't get passed. I'm sure Trump will find some other way to.
And if he don't, he'll just find another way.
Funnel some money. To me, that's what I said last night. It's the attempt anyway.
Yep.
That they're trying. They desire this. Mitch McConnell said today, quote, "So the nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops."
Is that how he sounded when he said it?
No, that's not at all how he sounded. I wish I had the actual audio. I don't.
You say he spoke that clearly?
He was using an AI voice assist. So the nation's top, let me see if I get this full quote. So the nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops. Utterly stupid, morally wrong. Take your pick. So he's against it. And he could have voted to impeach Trump after January 6th. And he chose, McConnell might have voted to impeach. They needed 3 more and they didn't get the 3 more. I don't remember who voted to impeach, but a few Republicans did. But anyway, they could have fixed all this a few years ago if they would have just voted to impeach Trump and barred him running for office again.
Well, that tells us what they wanted.
Yeah.
So here we are.
It's up to the voters.
We'll leave it up to the voters to decide.
The nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops. Utterly stupid. I am appalled at this moral ineptitude.
Can we go talk about it in your favorite restaurant?
Take your pick. If you excuse me, we're on recess right now. I got a table waiting for me at the Cracker Barrel. I have a standing reservation. I don't like standing it for anything these days because I fall down a lot. But I'll take a standing reservation to Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
Go ahead and give me 2 chicken fried steaks. Make it a double. I don't care about my cholesterol at this point. Have you seen me wobbling around?
Jesus.
The halls of Congress. All the color is gone from my face. Why are my lips purple?
His lips are purple because his heart disease is kicking in.
I'm a medical marvel.
That's why his lips are purple.
Well, I am appalled. Yes. Every now and then.
He's not long for the world.
I don't even think we watched that clip from a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. It's creepy.
I don't know if we ever pulled it up. I don't even know if I probably still have it bookmarked somewhere, but the clip of him talking during that congressional hearing. I mean, he really it was as though someone had was holding his mouth shut.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for him to get the words out.
Right.
This is it. Let me pull this up. And we can wrap up on this. This was him it was Pete Hegseth they were talking to. It was one of those hearings where he comes in with his roast book. He had a team of writers as well.
Exactly. You didn't have a team of writers.
Him and Kash Patel had the same writers. And, all right, hold on, let me pull it up. And Mitch was running the meeting. This is it. Mitch McConnell. He's trying to end the meeting early. He forgot that there's 3 more senators who still have to ask their questions. But this is what he sounds like now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, here's where we are.
Oh, Jesus.
It's about over. Secretary has to get with the president on the China trip. I'm going to ask Senator Murkowski to wrap up. And thank you all for being here.
This is like if I was doing my Mitch McConnell impression, but also I was hooked on heroin. You know what I mean? But I show up like Eddie Kang. Like I can still do the impression, guys.
Nights like this,
but it's me, strung out. Like that's so accurate, guys. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna wrap this one up.
Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, here's where we are. The vote is about over. Secretary has to get with the president on the China trip. I'm going to ask Senator Murkowski to wrap up. And thank you all for being here.
This guy has to step in and say, Mr. McConnell, we're not done. There's actually like 3 more.
No,
senators.
he didn't. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. He's saying that with Baldwin, Shaheen, and Kennedy still have questions, is what he's telling you.
Baldwin, Shaheen, and Kennedy still have questions.
Yep. Oh,
wrap up after.
Who the hell are you? I've never seen you before in my life.
You.
Who is this intruder in our chamber?
Hold here.
He has to tell him like 3 times.
Yeah. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of time for a second round, so we'll get through everybody. And Senator Murkowski, I appreciate you taking over.
Oh,
thank you.
God, must have been a long meeting.
Jesus. No, it's about 10 minutes.
It was just a quick in and out.
Yeah, he was good.
Okay, here's where we are.
Oh, Jesus.
The vote is about over. The Secretary has to get.
Don't do this, Andy. We've seen it.
Can you read me back the minutes of the meeting? And the minutes of the meeting are just like, okay, let's get started. That's as far as they've gotten into this meeting. Oh, I'm exhausted from hearing all this testimony. One thing I would like is a nice ice cold glass of Arnold Palmer.
Oh, he had that already. He's got to go pee now.
At the Crickabur.
I gotta go change.
I gotta go change the undergarment.
Take care of some business.
Yeah, it takes me a little while. I'm a little shaky, but I can still do it.
Jeez.
They have a young man to help me, but I tell him wait outside. I can still do it. Wait outside and keep an eye on my chicken fried steak. Make sure no one touches it.
Chicken fried steak that he gums. Ugh. Jesus Christ. There's an image I want to end this on. You guys have fun with that.
Excuse me, Mr. Waiter. Can I borrow a blender? Can you bring a blender? Is there an outlet? Can you bring a blender out for me, please?
The vote is about over. The Secretary has to get with the president on the China trip. I'm going to ask.
Do you guys...
Is that how it's referred to? The China trip?
A China trip.
China trip.
I ordered some short ribs, and I'm gonna need a straw.
China
straw.
He said the China trip.
China trip. Let's go talk about the China trip right quick.
That's what we're calling it, the China trip. Okay.
Here's where we are.
I'm not doing this no more with you, Andy. Listen, people.
It's hilarious.
Thank y'all so much for jumping in with us tonight.
I can enlarge if you want to see his face.
No. Oh. I'm currently working on a story about aging werewolves, and I would use him as like a vampire, a separate character.
Oh man, because you got frozen at the age that you were when you got.
They in my world they age slowly.
Vampires age slowly.
He's like 10,000. They all age slowly.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he is aging. It's just on a much slower scale. I'm
writing this thing about it's actually about aging werewolves, but there has to be other. It doesn't have to be, but there's going to be other groups in there.
So, other aging things.
Yeah, it's just he would be. He's a good model. That fucking face.
Remember the good old days of minus 8,000 BC? We ruled the world back there.
Fucking face. Jesus Christ.
Best thing about getting old is that they finally invented the kookaburra. For entire millennia, there was no such thing as a kookaburra.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Sounded like Nick Nolte. Come on, chat. Let me wrap this up now. Sounded like Nick Nolte. Sounded like Nick. He's got my gun. I can't even do a good Nick Nolte. I used my gun on this. Now, there's an old story that Nick Nolte came within an eye blink of being Han Solo. Imagine that.
Where did I place my gun? Han Solo, really? Nick Nolte?
Just missed the part. It was going to be Nick Nolte.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, it would be a much different character. It's hard to picture that.
Patton Oswalt does a great bit about it because he does a great impression. Jesus, Chewbacca, can you get in here? Oh, Lord. All right, y'all. Listen, thanks so much. Y'all come back on Saturday. We'll be here for y'all. Really appreciate y'all joining us on this Thursday night to hear us talk some shit. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope y'all come on back. Thank y'all. Appreciate this. Be sure to tell a friend. Let everybody know. Tell them they got to get behind a paywall with us on Saturday. If you're listening to this right now, we record on Saturdays. We are behind a paywall at Patreon. That's where our Patreon show is. We do a Saturday. We do a Wednesday. There's shit behind the paywall for you. So just come on behind the paywall if you listen on YouTube. Come on behind the paywall.
Years of content back there.
Yeah, there's content back there.
You can go. You can root around back there all you want.
Yeah, all you want.
Dig around back there.
Yes, there's chicken fried steak back there.
See what's going on.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We will see y'all soon. Appreciate y'all so much. Thanks, and I hope you enjoyed tonight.
Sorry, Trey, it's late.
Yeah, it is late. Okay. Just rooting around. Anyway, thanks, people. Appreciate y'all. I'm Randolph Terrence.
I'm Andy Klein.
And we'll see y'all. We're three guys on y'all. Get by the paywall. We're out. Root around in the Cracker Barrel.
Back there. At the Cracker My Ass Barrel.